World Chocolate Day is an annual celebration of all things, you guessed it, chocolate. It takes place on the same date each year, July 7th. The date July 7th was specifically chosen because it was on this day in the year 1550 that chocolate arrived in Europe. To learn more, stick around and get your sweet tooth ready. Where does chocolate come from? Cacao beans were first cultivated over 4,000 years ago in Mesoamerica and were used by the Olmec, one of the most ancient civilizations in Latin America. They are thought to have been the first to turn the cocoa plant into a bitter chocolate drink, and they used it in rituals and for medicine. In 1502, Christopher Columbus was the first European explorer to come into contact with cacao in Nicaragua. He thought the beans were a type of almond and brought them back to Europe, not knowing the potential value of the unusual beans. In 1528, Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés established a cacao plantation for trading. Cacao was transported to Europe by the Spanish and people began to taste it. Here, cinnamon and other spices were added to the bitter brew and it was sweetened with sugar. The first chocolate house was opened in London in 1657. Cacao was very expensive, and in France, chocolate could only be drunk by royalty. Up until the 1700s, chocolate was mainly a drink, but in 1830, the first real molded chocolate bar was produced. By the late 19th century, chocolate companies such as Cadbury were mass-producing boxes of chocolates. Today, chocolate is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and people all over the world love the taste of chocolate. How do you make chocolate? Chocolate is made from cacao nibs from cocoa beans. The beans grow in places which are near the equator. Most of the beans are grown in West Africa. After 6 months, the cocoa pods are ripe and they are harvested. Once fermented, the beans are dried out in the sun and shipped to chocolate factories all over the world. At the factories, the beans are cleaned and then roasted. The shells are removed and the beans are ground into a thick liquid. Other ingredients, such as sugar and cocoa butter, are added to make the chocolate taste nice. Finally, the chocolate is packaged and sent to shops to be sold. Thanks for joining us. For more information and resources related to chocolate, head to twinkl.com.